More Than in Just a Pretty Face, Part 2, page 72, by Saeed M. Masood. We ate in silence for a few minutes, the crunch of slightly overdone toast, the only sound between us, until my father said something I'd never heard before. Your mother was right. The piece of toast that had been on its way to my mouth dropped from my hand. What? About your contest. She had a point. I mean, she was also wrong. And just like that, balance was restored to the universe. What I'm saying, he went on, is that even if you getting into the contest is not worth celebrating, it's a good thing you're in it. At least this way you won't have to write a final in history. This is an opportunity. I nodded. Here came the it will look good on a college application speech, which would then transition to the know you've got the brains of a stupid donkey, but you should go to college speech, which would then become the being a chef is not a viable career path speech. It was a familiar mutation. Instead of launching into lecture, however, my father simply took a sip of chai out of a giant mug that my mother had gotten for him. It read, "World's Okayest Dad. Ayesha Jelani could be savage when she wanted to be." Then he asked, "What are you writing about?" "My teacher says I have to write about Winston Churchill." "Why are they making you write about that effer?" I stared at Ahmed Jelani like I didn't know him. I mean, there are things that you never expect to happen, but that your mind can still make sense of. Alien invasions, zombie apocalypses, falling in love with a vampire, and then there's stuff so bizarre and stunned that stunned silence is the only possible response, such as the thought of my father using any variation of the F-bomb. He looked embarrassed in the face of my shock. "Sorry," he said. "That's not a good word. Make sure you never use it, even for Churchill." Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I didn't even know what it means." The super awkward silence continued, but finally, Dad said, "What does your history teacher say about Churchill?" Tippett is a big fan. I thought everyone was. He seemed to think about this for a long time, a pained expression on his face. "Why? Everything I heard about Churchill at school or seen in movies or documentaries have been positive, though. Honestly, I hadn't been paying close attention." "Write what makes your teacher happy. That will get you the best grade." I wasn't sure if that was a command or a question. "Are you sure?" That was what Ahmed Jelani said, something I never heard him say before, the second time in our conversation. It was a sentence that I assumed all Desi uncles and aunties lacked the capacity to utter. "I don't know." Even during the last class of the day, it was one of the math, trig, or maybe calc, I was still thinking about my dad's outburst at breakfast. What had that even been about? As was typical of him, my father hadn't answered any questions about his issues with Churchill. Instead, he'd just gone upstairs to make up with Mom. I'd been wondering about it all day. In fact, I was so preoccupied with Ahmed Jelani's use of the F word that Mrs. Wright's explanations about how angles can move or something because real life is not simple and two-dimensional totally went over my head. Honestly, though, that would have happened even if breakfast had been boring and predictable. I decided it was entirely possible that Mrs. Wright was making all this up. I mean, we've had no way of knowing, would we? We put a lot of faith in our teachers, if you think about it. How do we even know a square root is a real thing? It was then that the whole Renaissance man thing got real. Principal Weinberg came by and pulled me out of class orientation, along with Alan Rhodes. His petition to get me kicked out of the contest hadn't gone anywhere. I thought it was kind of amazing that he put up a web page dedicated to bashing my selection so quickly. Tippett, however, seemed less impressed. The rumor was that he told Alan if the site stayed up, Alan's history grade might suffer. That was like threatening Alan's firstborn. He would do anything to protect his grades. "You excited?" I asked. As we walked out of class together, Alan gave me a look a Desi auntie would give calamari if she ever found one in her kitchen. "I don't know what you are or how you got here, but I can't believe I have to deal with you" stare. Then he picked up his pace and pulled away from me. Still upset, I guess. I followed him into a room where The 6 other Renaissance Man contestants were sitting behind desks, all of them with textbooks from various classes open. I resisted the temptation to roll my eyes. These guys were something else. Alan stalked his way to the far side of the room without saying anything, but I waved to the group. Hey guys! Only Natari Smith waved back. It was easy to see why Intezar had a crush on her. I made my way over and sat next to her. Tough room, I whispered. Yeah, absolutely. They absolutely hate you right now. Impossible. She chuckled. What's their problem? Daniel, you're the one here that isn't a nerd. So I'm not cool enough to be here or something? Something like that, Natari said. A lot of people worked really hard for this. Many of them are our friends. They didn't get in. You stumbled in accidentally. Do you get it? I frowned. So much for Tippett's theory that everyone would be mad at him, not me. The idea of not being liked bothered me. I was used to being pretty much universally loved. This whole thing will blow over soon, right? Absolutely. Once we destroy you in the competition, things will go back to normal. Seeing the look on my face, Natari grinned. You realize that everyone's going to go all out, right? No one wants to rank below you. They'd never live it down. I winced. Sorry, she said. It's fine. I tried to put a matching grin on my face. Do you want to beat me too? Sure I do, Jelani. But I'm not short-sighted enough to be irritated you got in. Just makes for one entry I know I'm going to crush. We stopped talking as Principal Weinberg walked in. She smiled at all of us in her typically warm way. Why didn't we get right to it? Congratulations, of course, to all of you for getting selected for Renaissance Man. It is a remarkable achievement. I felt a couple of people glance in my direction.